The final shape brings us a brand new suite of legendary weapons centered around Cayde 6 and various cards from a deck. Today, some of the perks and capabilities were revealed, so we'll discuss those, but also the backstory behind each character on the cards. Each have their own personal connection to Cayde 6. Let's take a look. So this image came from the new Vidoc last week. An 8K version was posted by Hextrod on Reddit, which you see here. Not sure if they recreated it or upscaled it, but this is what it looks like. The first card on the left we see is the Ace of Spades. Pretty self-explanatory. Cayde has the Ace of Spades. This symbol has been centered around him since the beginning. To its right, first we'll start on the top row. We have a Warlock, Hunter, and Titan. Generic characters that seem to be representing the classes and maybe whoever you play as the Guardian. The Warlock weapon is called the Call Sidearm. This thing is a rocket sidearm where projectiles explode on impact, a strand 100 RPM, and final blows of this weapon grant a small amount of super energy. Equipping multiple weapons from the Pale Heart increases this effect, so this is the origin trait for all the Cayde-themed weapons. These weapon screens, by the way, come from the game post, who has an article linked below on all the new legendary weapons. Others like Shadow Price return, but in this video we'll just discuss the Cayde weapons and their lore. The Hunter card is called the False Idol's Sword. It's a solar vortex frame with 66 ammo. And the Titan card is the No Hesitation Auto Rifle, a solar support frame 600 RPM with 47 in the mag. This is the one I believe they showed from the Vidoc where you can scorch targets and also heal your allies if you shoot at them. On the far right, we have the Queen of Spades, an EXO character who we believe is Micah 10. This is the Embraced Identity Sniper Rifle, an adaptive void frame, 90 RPM with 5 in the magazine. The weapon's flavor text says, "Your friend," and we know that's how Micah always ended their journal entries, "Your friend Micah Abram." Next to that, seen in the card is the image of the 6 coyotes from the Destiny 1 cloak. Micah Abram was a child of one of the scientists on Europa when Braytech set up their shop with the EXO program. The child would often escape class and break into the factories, and even had an encounter with Cayde 6. Cayde still remembered this years later after resets and is seen in the Legacy's Oath helm. That child eventually went on to become an EXO hunter and was a part of these 6 coyotes, a legendary pack of hunters who would first scout the Cosmodrome. As a guardian on Earth without a jump ship, Micah 10 gathered and protected groups of ghosts that were still searching for their guardians. Despite the challenges, she successfully guided many ghosts to find their guardians, one of which was the ghost of Andal Brask, the Hunter Vanguard before Cayde 6. So if Andal never happened, never got revived, Cayde would have never been in the position either. Among the coyotes were 2 known EXOs, Micah 10 and Lee 4. We know way more about Micah, who had connections with Cayde, compared to Lee, and given that flavor text in the image, this likely 100% is Micah. Starting on the bottom row at the left, we have the King of Clubs, a card representing Shiro 4 in the bold endings hand cannon. This hand cannon fires 2-round bursts, 257 RPM with 16 in the magazine, and has the same dealer's choice origin trait as the others. Shiro was introduced in the Rise of Iron expansion and never was seen again. Shiro was in a fire team with Cayde and Andal back in the day, and then he worked as a Vanguard scout where he came into play with the Siva Crisis. Next to Shiro we have Ikora and Zavala. Ikora's is the Axio Lacuna fusion rifle, precision solar frame with 772 charge time and 6 in the mag. Zavala's is an aggressive frame strand machine gun, 600 RPM, 65 in the mag. These 2 characters are pretty self-explanatory with their connection to Cayde lore-wise. And lastly we come to the Queen of Hearts in the Someday shotgun. A precision frame, kinetic, 65 RPM with 6 in the mag. The Ishtar symbol is seen in the middle of this one, so this gets interesting. On the bottom, if we flip it around, it's most likely Maya Sundaresh. After becoming an EXO, Cayde was stationed as a security officer on Venus to protect Dr. Maya Sundaresh. He eventually formed feelings for her, but those feelings were one-sided. She was more focused on her work. So Maya and Ishtar make sense. The EXO on the other side of the card could be Lakshmi. As we know, Lakshmi was an EXO that was used in the Ishtar's projects on Neptune with the Veil. Maya Sundaresh conducted a dangerous experiment with the Veil using brain-dead EXOs. She aimed to reverse the function of a prototype interface to receive and intercept the Veil's signals. Lakshmi too was the central recipient of that experiment, which included Maya overlaying her own mental imprint onto Lakshmi 2. When Lakshmi 2 woke up, she either had a partial or complete copy of Maya's consciousness, speaking with Maya's own voice and possessing some of her memories. So you have a partial love interest in Maya on the other side, makes sense with the Queen of Hearts, and on the other side, her consciousness that became Lakshmi. It's also called the Someday Shotgun, so is that a hint that Maya may be a part of future content, maybe in Echoes? I guess we'll see. This all gets even more crazy when you look back at Destiny 1. Cayde's cards have always been there, and in the secret stash mission aboard the colony ship in the Cosmodrome, he speaks about some of these cards. How certain cards are tied to certain weapon manufacturers, and how the Queen of Hearts was for this girl he used to know, which could have been Maya Sundaresh.
Took me days to get it working. It's a little unstable, so watch your step.
Cayde, someone moved the bridge. Destroyed the controls.
Yeah, that's the Fallen. Hey, you found one of my secret rooms. Good times. Help yourself to the glimmer, but leave the exotics for me. When I get out of this tower,
There's nothing in here but fallen caches.
They took my loot? It's like there's no rules.
A jack of spades?
Yeah, I had a whole system to keep track of things. The royal cards stood for weapons. Spades meant Hake, clubs for Crux Lomar, diamonds for Omelon, and hearts... well, hearts were for this girl I knew.
What was her name?
Don't you have a stealth drive to find?
So that is pretty cool. He says spades was for Hake, clubs for Crux Lamar, and diamonds for Omelon. I took a quick glance at some of these weapons. I believe that actually holds up. This kind of looks like an Omelon weapon to me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. I look at some of the new Cayde-themed weapons with the cards, clubs, hearts, all that, and the lore behind the characters. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore mysteries and news on the final shape, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.